All right, it's been a while. Gone to do an iron along or iron with me. Nice way to end the Friday work week. Just relaxing and resetting ahead of the next week. So just going to show you and take you through how I like to iron, just give it a life update, kind of share some observations. But starting off, you want to get some ironing water. This is kind of funny. I just use some water from my dehumidifier, which demineralizes it. Pour it into this sand pill bottle. You want to pour into a funnel and simply pour into your iron. And now there's a very important reason we do this versus just simply using water from the tap. In Australia, water from the tap is heavily mineralized, meaning it's got a lot of harsh stuff, strong calcium, other matters in there, which are not good for the iron. Keep the iron as good as possible, fresh as possible, and great as possible. We want to avoid that. So best way to do that is with demineralized water. So starting with our shirts, it's kind of a bit of an insight into me on what the work week looks like. Mostly whites and light blues. Incredibly boring, but for me, sense of order and ease of use in the morning. Well, Steve Jobs talks about, the idea of him having his turtleneck, me having simple shirts that just go with all my suits is my form of a wool turtleneck. So let's get into it. So what I like to do is I like to lay the sleeves as flat as possible, the shirt as flat as possible, starting with the sleeves. Find the sleeves the easiest thing to start with, and they give you that nice defined crease in the arm. If you don't like the crease, you can iron along this crease to round it out. I think the crease looks sharp. It gives you the sense to others that it's very clear that you intentionally ironed the shirt versus it just being out of the wash straight on your body. There's nothing wrong with that, but one of the tenets of what I believe in and something that's helped shape me to the man I am today is the concept of ironing. But more than that, taking care of your items, having things set out and allowing you to kind of flourish from that. It's actually such a vocal point of mine. I've crystallized it into my new ebook, which I've called The Tutorial Level. It's almost out. I'm putting the finishing touches. I'm just adding some additional recipes because I want to share with you guys all the amazing stuff I cook that keeps me in tip-top shape all year round, meaning I've got a 6/8 pack, super fit and able to do basically any form of fitness. For example, last week, a friend asked me to join him for 25Ks, never done 25K run before. Normally half marathon's the longest. And I didn't have much in the legs that week. In fact, none, because it was hot as heck in Australia. So I said to him, sure, why not? Oh, well, that's embarrassing. It's not even plugged in. Oh my goodness. Not it wasn't ironing that great. Came out. And let me put this back in here. That's embarrassing. Start with making sure your iron is on. This has a couple of features. Just use the standard one. Anyways, after we do the sleeves, we are going to want to do the placket of the shirt, the front bit. Doesn't matter if you start button side or non-button side. Doesn't matter. As long as you start, you'll be all hunky-dory. The reason this is leaking a bit of water and it's getting on the top, or the shirt I should say, is I dropped this and this lid component doesn't close properly. Fault on my part. No good. But that's all right. We will endure, soldier on, and not complain. So I just feel this kind of gives me that sense of things are going to be all okay. And I just like the idea of ironing. It's a form of meditation. A lot of things these days, trying to be keeping ourselves busy, distracted with stuff. If you can find the time to just put on some music, or not even at all, just listen to the iron and really take your time to do this, you find it quite rewarding quite quickly, which is kind of the purpose of why it kind of found its way into the tutorial level. It's based on things I've already tested time and time again, based on stuff that you can do for free right now with what you've got to leverage them as much as possible. That's effectively the short form synopsis of why this will make you a better person. It doesn't require a heavy investment like all these other courses, programs, whatever people are sending out there. I like to believe that you can make quite a great deal of progress without spending a single cent, and this is going to be proof of that. Currently, it's full of information that I wish I knew when I was younger. It would have really helped put me on the right path and streamlined my life to date. On that point, streamlining life on the right path. Yeah, it's about 60 pages long. It's got a lot of fun little pictures I put in, so bear with me. It's kind of something that's played with me. Concept of the tutorial level being, of course, remember tutorials from a video game. There's levels that were cozy, fun, bright. Nothing bad was going to happen. The game hadn't started yet. The big bad boss wasn't out yet. You were just simply in your little area, vibing, playing good music, and just growing and learning the system. That's what this is about. It's about giving you that comfort. And what better way to talk about it while actually ironing in a very meta sense. One of the first activities I talk about on this and how to iron, I figured why not fire up the camera, start recording a bit of iron with me, and take you through what this kind of means, the idea of having a wardrobe that you're proud of, can look after. Now, the point of this is, by ironing your shirts and washing them regularly, it just keeps them ready for the week. It means that you're not rushing in the morning to iron your shirt, you're batching it. Something my girlfriend taught me. Now fiance, I should say, sorry, apologies. What I mean by that is you want to leverage a block of time like now in which you can go through and iron your shirts so they're simply ready, hanging in the closet. And more than that, which I'll show towards the end, you want to hang them and you'll be able to kind of visualize and see how it integrates into your wardrobe and what you can do from that. What I mean by that is it's difficult to visualize an outfit or how to wear a piece of clothing if it's stuffed in a drawer or it doesn't look nice. You want everything to have a beauty to it and get as much out of your stuff as possible. These shirts have seen better days, but I like to think by my laundering, I've been able to really extend the lifespan of these shirts. These shirts, for example, this one right now in my hand, I believe it is, I purchased all the way back in 2020. So almost 6 years ago when it will be July. That's an incredible, longevity I've gotten out of these shirts. I shouldn't be getting that long, but I guess these were quality shirts, and I'm very happy that I invested the money in pure 100% cotton. And that's kind of another thing you'll learn about ironing and taking care of your own washing. You need to understand how fabrics interact with the skin. And while everyone's talking about the idea of not, sweating in microplastics and, trying to get rid of polyester and fabrics like this, that is important. But that's kind of why I'd like to, invest in stuff that I know is going to last. And I was kind of doing this way before people were making note of it. I just knew that the high quality shirts were made of for example, this one, Egyptian cotton ply, much softer than traditional cotton and much more suited than just a cheap polyester cotton mix or a lower grade quality polyester, for example. Because you feel that when you're working. And that kind of takes me to the point of, to perform your best like an athlete or what have you, you need your tools, your items that you'll be able to leverage for that point. So by having it all set up, it just makes things easier. People respect you more because they can see you pay attention to things and look after things. By ironing like this, you can see if there's any nicks, holes, issues in your garments in terms of maybe they need to be thrown out or maybe you didn't wash it correctly. With shirts like this, if you're a guy like me, the back of the collar here, right here, that's right, will get actually dirty. Obviously it's just sweat build-up, simple as that. A couple of things you can do. Just accept the way it is, but when laundering your shirts, remember always this. Before putting them in the wash, get a pre-fabric treatment. Doesn't require much sprays. Spray it, and then put it in the wash, and you'll find that will get out that and keep your shirts looking absolutely pristine, which is important. So another thing about why I like wearing, just having like lots of light blue and white, you'll notice this is a textured light blue, giving a bit more depth than just a traditional light blue, which will iron actually next, funnily enough. It kind of prevents any weird combinations at work in terms of, I've got quite a lot of ties and suits. So when you kind of stack these things together, I find the shirt something that, as much as we can, we want to be pretty consistent with everything. So by having those colors, it will allow that less level of thinking and less angst in the morning of getting ready, and less the chance of making a mistake. Because I mean, if you've got to imagine you've got an interview at work, or there's an important client or something or other, you can only really, be fully confident in yourself if you've worn something that you know works for a fact versus wearing it for the first time. For example, you might put together a combo of a tie, a shirt, and a suit for the first time, right? And you'll feel it doesn't quite make sense, but you've picked it, right? And you're at work. People got to be able to notice and pick up on that body language. And that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like, people that really know how to wear a suit, practice these things, and are comfortable, versus people that really put them on as their costume and kind of really try to reap those benefits without understanding you have to put in the hours and make the mistakes kind of already. But by having the right things in terms of, customization and flexibility and just ease of things going together, you're less likely to make those mistakes. And that's kind of what it's getting at. And another point about the stain on the back of the collar, aptly enough, it's a recent discovery of mine, and something I think is going to feature a lot in my wardrobe, is the concept of a neckerchief. Neckerchief is something that is worn between the shirt and the skin. Kind of gives you that extra breathability, takes the edge off, and it just adds another layer of depth and dimension to your outfit. And it kind of, see, for me, when I wear these linen shirts, I always leave two buttons undone. I find that one done up from the top doesn't look quite right. This two undone looks great, but then there is that element of the chest cleavage, which is not really an issue per se, but I find this kind of rectifies that by having something in that space and just looks more polished, I'd say. I don't think it looks as pretentious as an ascot. It's more of the more casualification of it, even though ascot isn't technically pretentious, but in the concept of casual outfits, because the thing is, at work, I'm all about always wearing a tie with my suit and shirt. Because if you're gonna wear your suit and a nice shirt, it's just kind of quite obvious when you're not wearing a tie. It's very clear that something's missing, and you might as well just put that extra little effort in. I know it's 5% or not much, but I like to think it's important to take pride in yourself and how you dress. While others might be of the view that the casualification of the office is something that is happening, I think if you kind of, always dress well and hold yourself well, you'll continue to, garner respect and a bit of a following of those at work that really back you when you apply for things and you put your mind to things. It gives you that extra sense of people really believe if you're trying to go for promotion, or that you are the person that you say you are, or that you're capable of handling a task. They have another level of trust that they can give upon you. And obviously, if you are a hard-working, diligent person, then that would just go a long way to kind of help further your career. I think a lot of people at my work, they'll wear long sleeve polo shirt, which is fine. They'll wear jumpers, nothing wrong with that. They'll wear shirts that I don't really consider business appropriate, but they're more casual. That's fine. Everyone's their own person. No, not really a suit, or if there's a suit, it's worn with an open neck. Again, it's fine, but for me, I don't know, maybe it's the Italian in me. I just like to look my best. I like to feel it always at Pitti Uomo, even though it's very expensive to get there and it's a bit of a dream. But I don't know, there's just something about, putting on your best outfit, going out there and having a great day. I think if we leave the idea of dressing well for special occasions, it's important. You can have certain clothing to reflect that. I think there's something to be brought forward by wearing these things on a day-to-day basis and really getting that benefit. And that's kind of like why the other day I'll wear like a nice suit, shirt, tie, it's a hot day, got my sunglasses on, I'm going out for a walk. People think I'm insane because it's so hot, but you kind of get quite comfortable in how you dress and you find the heat doesn't really affect you. So it gives you this extra level of like confidence and I guess mystique almost, that you can really handle any situation. And that constructs like the hot weather, it sounds a bit ridiculous, are constructs that others are fearful of, but you yourself are kind of quite like meditative, stoic and relaxed, which is kind of really interesting recent discovery of mine. And I think there's quite a lot of truth to it. It's kind of really owning that situation and having the right clothes, having a good enough suit that breathes. You know, I use half-lined suits, super 100 wool, so do the right thing. This comes to my next point about ironing, again the details. This says cold machine gentle wash only, so that's how I do so. Put it in a garment bag. Now of course when ironing this, you need to bear in mind that for dark stuff like this or this, you should ideally turn it inside out, which means we are going to do the same as we normally do, but in reverse, or inverted I should say, technically. So what we are going to do is that we are going to do as such. Now a lot of the battle of ironing is just simply laying the cloth flat, allowing it to kind of drape nicely over the board, and then voila, Bob's your uncle, it'll work out. But to kind of get to that point and allow that ease of the drape, obviously comes with a high quality fabric, but not even that. If you wash the cloth on less of a spin cycle and a cycle more dedicated to laundering shirts, most washing machines will say like shirts or something, for example. That's the cycle you want to go with. And that will really help to make it easier on you as an iron. So you're kind of like not only having more of a joy out of the process, you're kind of taking the frustration out. So you can kind of be more in that moment and really getting the relaxation afforded to you through the activity itself. It's keeping you in that moment. It's giving you that state of flow. And that's kind of what it's about. You kind of notice that I almost treat this like a dance somewhat, in that everything has to be placed as a movement. And yeah, you just feel very graceful doing this. Sounds a bit silly, but I think we kind of like, there is a concept that I think men can do things quite well and elegantly. There's no sense of rushing. You know, monks talk a lot about mindfulness, and I think this is one of those activities. And having intentionalism in how we move and moving well is a certain, I guess, you know, just like grace or elegance, really. I don't want to kind of say like, it is somewhat beauty, depending how you want to define it, but it's something that you just really take control of and build confidence, which is kind of why if you can do something like this, you know, understand fabrics, details, it just kind of goes to show that you'll be able to transport that into other aspects of your life, when at work, you know, looking at something in detail, taking your time, following certain procedural steps. You can understand the process through something as simple as ironing a shirt, which is quite funny actually, when it's just not just a shirt, but it's more than the shirt. I find that quite hilarious. Now we do the back bit. We do the back. Again, it's all inverted. If you're ever curious about what these are on a shirt, these are called darts. If you ever want to get a shirt adjusted at the tailor to bring in certain aspects of it to make it fit you better, there'll be these darts. That's what they're going to take in to give that more of that cinch. And yeah, that's effectively it. Now this shirt itself isn't a strictly business shirt. This is a business casual. It's what's known as a chambray. A chambray fabric it's a funny one. It is denim, but it's also not. It's kind of between denim and like a cotton dress shirt. It feels like a cotton dress shirt, but it also has that almost like denimness to it. But the beauty of it being like the shirt is that it has this sense of breathability to it that just really feels great for spring, even summer as well, depending how you want to wear it. As another alternative to what I'm about to show, again, this is great how I've, you know, arranged this in a way that's just can get to my point. The Oxford shirt, the Oxford button down, which is a more thicker type of fabric, and you'll kind of see like how light that is and just how it moves so elegantly. These are great for dressing down a suit if you kind of want to wear a suit with this open neck and like a neckerchief, or you want to wear like a tie with a suit and this. All great combos. Again, it's versatile enough. It's not quite as, what's the word I'm looking for? It works better than just a traditional like denim shirt that doesn't really have much to it. This is extra shirt I need to iron, so the video will keep going. So maybe not. Maybe you're enjoying this. Maybe you don't like hearing me talk. Maybe you want the videos of me just ironing in peace, with the sounds of what appears to be a plane in the background. Let me know. I'm all for it. But I just kind of want to share a bit of updates and stuff. So yeah, a lot's happening in life. In the process of getting married and designing my suit, all these things, organising rings, destination, paying for expenses, figuring out what we can pay when. It's all pretty exciting. And I guess, you know, that kind of point about how to iron stuff, look after your clothes, figure out your wardrobe, dress nice, has really helped me a great deal with deciding what I want to wear for my wedding, in terms of as the groom, if that makes sense, and kind of how to match nicely with my fiance. And it's kind of really cool. So the Oxford shirt is also something that's like that business casual. You can wear them, I suppose you could wear it with a tie, but because of those button down, it looks better, I think, without it. I think most people would agree because it's that business casual look. The cloth is thicker, has a more sturdiness to it. So it's not like traditionally like a dress shirt cloth in that sense. In the sense that you can wear this with jeans, wear this with chinos, wear this with suit pants. But you got to kind of, you know, or trousers and then like a blazer on top. You've got to really pick it. Can wear it with a suit, but kind of have to get it just right. In my view, like if you were to go maybe like a charcoal grey, could potentially not quite work. If you had like a more shark skin blue suit, I think it would still work in the casual sense. Maybe wearing this neckerchief, this contrasting against the more strong royal blueness of it, I think it would work. I don't see why not, based on what I'm thinking right now and how I'm picturing it in my mind. So yeah, these neckerchiefs are great. I got this when I was in the States, and I kind of wish I got more, but that's okay because I got this one half price. So I'm happy with the price I paid for it, and it's kind of kept me on the lookout. I've been acquiring some more. I acquired three more actually. One in wool, which is very, very elegant. Almost wasn't going to get it, but because of the design, I could not say no to buying it. The other one's a nice, I think it's an acetate, and the other one's like a potentially like another like a synthetic silk. But it just feels really nice, even though it is synthetic. You want to feel these things on you because they're quite small. They just add a little bit of pop of color. Because my wardrobe itself is quite straightforward. A lot of whites, light blues, some light greens. I'm seeing some grey there in the wardrobe. A lot of beige, some browns. Light brown. I got a brown vest and 2 brown suits now. One in wool, one in a wool linen, which I absolutely love. It's just something I just really enjoy about just looking my best, dressing nice, and just really putting that extra effort. Really, it's just something I kind of want to share with my children down the track, and just kind of the idea of always knowing how to look after things, and I think it goes a long way in life to share, and then looking after stuff like keeping clothes clean for everyone. You're a guy, and I honestly feel like, kind of going back to the tutorial level, you should know how to, as a guy, wash, clean, look after, maintain your clothes, look at fabric composition, so you're truly buying things that will last, serve you well, back you when you need the confidence in a job interview, when you're applying for promotion, when you're working hard on the job. You know what I mean? You need those things to effectively allow you to do that. Have I missed this? Yep, this needs to be ironed too. It's probably the most, not outrageous, but this is like, when wearing stripes, right? This is something very interesting. It's kind of like become a bit of a fashion tutorial almost. I used to have a fashion channel, so sometimes I think, should I do more fashion content? Should I do some get readies with me, shorts, perhaps? I just like constructing outfits. I don't know why. It's just, I just like dressing up, or just dressing well. Anyways, with this stripe, right, you can see, what you want to do is you need to get it in a certain shade, and you need to get the lines in a certain thickness. Use this as a guide, steal it. It's like a sky blue. I believe this is called a pencil stripe. I think the thickness is of the stripes. I've actually got a ruler here or something. Distance between each stripe, just for completeness, is that's inches. What about mils? 3 mils. 3 mils between each stripe. Between like the white and the blue. And this just goes with so many things. I love wearing this shirt. This is like, as soon as I found this, I bought it. If it's in like too dark of a blue, it doesn't quite look right. It leans more cash, but this is just excellent. If you kind of want something that's like even more versatile than this, which sounds ridiculous, but it is possible. It's called a reverse pencil stripe. And it's like a grey, light grey and a white. That would just go with absolutely everything. I haven't stumbled across that yet. To be honest, when this goes, this shirt, I'm just going to get another one in the exact same colour from the same brand, because it's just so lovely, really. Assuming the fabric composition hasn't changed. You always got to check that, because over the years, sometimes companies want to cut costs. They want to change things up. They want to ruin what they already had. Or get business, they've got to make a buck. But I think these guys, you just got to always check things. It's not that things aren't to be trusted, but you should always trust your own eye and always know for certain that you're getting the best deal. That's how you start to discern what to buy and what not to buy, by your guidelines, principles, and fundamentals, which I feel comes down to touch, size, fit, fabric composition, and integration with wardrobe and just versatility. Great thing about these work shirts, and that they are work shirts, they can still be dressed down as well. You wear them open neck, again with one of these, you look super fresh. They can be worn with blazers, chinos. World's your oyster. I just love this shirt so much. I've worn it. It's amazing. I kind of really should get another one. Just have it ready almost when it goes. But I think this one I've had for at least 2 or 3 years now. It's just excellent. I love wearing it. Again, just straightening it out, running your hand, and you'll get it just the way you need to. What I really want is one of those old school irons that just have like the massive weight on it. That would be the best. And no steam, but I had the chance of using one in the Philippines. Absolutely amazing. I was like, I want to take this home. So, newer products aren't always the best. Tradition is tradition for a reason. But understand there's not a lot of people that obsess about keeping a shirt nice and ironed and pressed just like that. Look at that, it's amazing. I've moved to the thumbnail, just hold it out like this. Video is half an hour now. Wow. I'm glad I didn't record this in 4K, that's for sure. So just kind of noting that the phone would have itself recording on a iPhone 12 mini. So yeah, thanks for like sticking around. I can't believe the increase of subs and people following along. So people commenting on my outfits, glasses, asking great questions in the comments. I'm just really grateful for like everyone contributing and the community that we're building. And I like to think that when I have this tutorial level out, you guys will kind of be able to see what I'm kind of been getting at and what I see as important, and kind of what I'm going to try base content around the fundamentals. Because I kind of start to learn through listening to podcasts of, you know, those that you really want to listen to and that have things that you learn from. For example, me, when I learnt about property, people that I guess are really good at giving advice, they're good at a certain area, and you'll notice that they kind of just say the same thing in different ways because they have their fundamentals, and that's kind of what has led to their success and what, like, their how they get there. And that's kind of like what this tutorial level will start to symbolize. Now, I do note that I still do have my paid product, which is Life Cycles. It's $10. It's an investment required to take your life to the next level with a bike. I think that's like the paid version when you're ready. You can still gain a great deal from the tutorial level and when you're ready to make that investment, because you will have to make more investment than $10 to get a bike, to get the stuff, tell you how to save so much money. But you still need to make that initial investment. If you're not quite ready for it, or you want to see or think I'm full of crap and don't believe the value I provide, following the tutorial level will really set you apart. And I don't think anyone's talked about it in the way I have and the way I've set it out in steps fundamentally. Because there's a lot of stuff I observe about guys. I like to think I'm very critical of myself, extreme, like hypercritical. So if someone was to bully me, because I was kind of bullied when I was younger, I kind of already know where they're coming from and their angles. So I can kind of anticipate it in a sense. So because of that, I'm pretty critical about what I have to do to get to where I want and become the next level. So part of that is kind of what shapes it and helps me drive forward and move forward in my life. And I kind of, again, back to the criticality point, like, not a lot of people know how to change their bed, make their bed every day, change their linens, look after their clothes, wash their clothes, hang their clothes, iron their clothes, buy clothes that will last them, understand about fabric composition, longevity, how to leverage the most out of their wardrobe, how to cook for others, how to clean up after yourself, how to have a routine, how to be healthy, how to exercise, how to do all these things, how to work a 9-to-5 job successfully and, you know, go up the ladder and be in a position where you can start to mentor people and really, you know, give back on a day-to-day basis. It's everything that has kind of come very quickly, almost like me dressing and being somewhat of an older man in terms of how I approach things. Life goes on pretty quick. I'm like 29, I'm gonna be 30 in a couple of months. And while it seemed like before I was young, dressing well, kind of like the young professional, you kind of get to a point where you're at that age where it kind of seems right for you to dress like that, and you're no longer like trying to fit in or be that you are. And for those that are trying to dress well, that start later, you can see they're making these mistakes that you made before. And it's not about that, it's just more about coming into your own and believing yourself. And that's what this is about. And yeah, like I said, the tutorial level will be coming soon. Currently the Life Cycles is out. You want to support me, it's $10. Change your future, save you so much, and give you time back in years, bounds for your family, energy. Just take it to that next level. 180 pages, I think it is, or 160. Anyways, so I always say, conquer mountains, conquer life. Concept of conquering 3 mountains talked about in tutorial level is first the mountain of your environment, and here in terms of leveraging beyond your environment, your immediate self, is the wardrobe and ironing, is that, or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it's integrated in the book, but this is the core part of the book for you. Anyways, have a good one. It's been a pleasure ironing with you, and you can do it. I believe you. Conquer mountains, conquer